How's it going, targeted individuals? This is Cody, and just wanted to shoot out another tube for all you guys out there. A couple of things have been bothering me lately, and the fact that that we're not getting enough attention, that these things are going on with us and nobody is listening. I know there's a lot of disinformation out there, but what I think we need to do is we need to start pushing a little bit more into the legal realm. And so what I've been trying to do over at least the last 8 months with the company I'm working for now is I've been harassed pretty much since I started this company. And the company that I worked for before this company for about 4 days, they also harassed me as well. So I'm going to try to get some litigation going. I think I've got enough evidence now to make a case, and I plan on bringing it to the State Department here in the next week or so. And I could really use your guys' support. What I'm going to do on this video right now is I'm going to keylog. Basically, it's going to be an entire statement on what's been happening since I came into this company, who the key people are that I believe are involved with my harassment and possibly with the targeting individual program, and just kind of like throw it all out there. But I'm gonna hide their names, I'm gonna hide my witnesses' names, and I'm gonna hide the company names in a keylog using letters from the alphabet. And I'm gonna basically give this keylog to 7 different people that I know, that I trust. Actually 2 of them I believe I'm gonna put in a locker and lock it up as well, in case anything happens to me. Since I believe that they know that I've got a lot of evidence on this company, I've been getting a lot of stuff on my phones, some of my older phones. I don't know if I've explained it to you, but I've had about 8 telephones in the last 2 years, and I think I have tried every single mobile service that's out there to try to stop them from getting in, and it seems like every mobile service lets them in. So there's not any way that you can hide from these people on your phones. I don't keep any contacts really on my phones. I write them down because they'll delete your contacts. They'll block calls from your contacts, and so I just pretty much write everything down. I don't keep a lot of information on my phone. I just use it for simple purposes, and I just I get the data. I use the data, then I turn it right off. And it seems to work pretty well, and also encrypting it right away. But anyway, let me get started here. This company that I started with, I'm just going to go into the company that is of concern right now. And this company I started with, it's been about 1 year and 3 months ago. And the reason why I started with this hardware company, and they are a corporation, is I used to know a manager at another location that I worked for about 5 years ago, and I did a really good job there. I believe I was Employee of the Month twice, and I had over like 12 customer service awards as well. Did a really fine job. I could pretty much run everything over there. I worked in almost every department in the store, so I knew a lot of things that other people didn't know, which kind of gave me a upper hand in being able to move around a little bit more. So, and that's kind of how I like to work. I'm kind of a freelancer, but I like to work hard. I don't like boring positions. I definitely like positions where, I'm getting something accomplished. And so anyway, she moved over to another location. I went to a marketing job for a few years, got laid off, and met up with her at a hardware store that was closer to me here where I'm living now. And she asked me to, apply there. She said that I could probably get a job, so I did that, and I got on with them. It wasn't very long after getting on with them that I began to experience the harassment. Of course, the hacking had already happened. I was just getting into the gangstalking when I arrived at the hardware store that I was working at, and the position, I didn't really care for the position I was in. It seemed pretty boring. I'm kind of a guy that likes to get hands on things and get things, like I said, accomplished. And it was just too boring for me. And I was actually moved from that department into a more comfortable department that I was more familiar with. I think it was about 3 months after I started there. So I was kind of happy about that. And it gave me a little bit of more of an opportunity to get with customers and help customers and and get things done. So I was pretty happy with it. The manager that I used to work for that actually gave me the lead to come to work there, I'm going to have this manager is going to be Q on my list, and she's a really good friend of mine. I've known her for quite a while. I knew her for 3 years working at the other hardware store, and I've known her for almost another year and a half here, so I would say almost 4 years. So she's a really neat person. So anyway, the person that was actually in charge of my department that I moved into after the boring 3 months of the other department, he's the assistant manager, and he goes by the name. He goes by Z is his name, and he's a really good guy actually. He defended me. They tried to fire me, like I think it was 3 times when I first started in that other department, the second department. And it wasn't from that department trying to fire me. It was another department. The night people their manager was trying to instigate things with me by using his associates and his people. And they were doing things, gaslighting me. They were taking things out of my locker, throwing them away. I don't know what they were doing with them. Just tooling and stuff that I needed, and to get my job done. So and it was all, the company's equipment. So I wasn't really like I was losing my personal stuff. I never kept anything personal in my locker, because one of the first things they did, they never issued me a lock. Everybody else seemed to get a lock. I didn't get one. So I just kept it unlocked, and I just threw in my, my appropriate apparel and, tooling, and it was pretty much all the companies, so I wasn't too worried about it. So almost every week I would lose all my stuff out of my locker. I'd have to go get, all my tools again, my products that I needed for working. I'd have to do that almost every week. That went on for, gosh, I'd say about at least 6 months. I found, one time they put a mouse in my locker. Another time, somebody poured a pop in there, all over my locker. I had to clean that out one time. And, it was just one thing after another. When I was trying to make signs for my department that I was working in at one point, I was trying to make some merchandising signs at one point. They were taking my signs and hiding them, and then after my break, they would take the signs and put them back on my computer. So they were playing little games with me, whoever these people were that were gang stalking me in my workplace. I did complain about it. I think it was after about 4 months. I kind of let most of it go. It was just kind of like, it was kiddie bullshit that they were doing, and I just kind of let it go, just blew it off. I knew what was going on. I knew it was gang stalking. I had been in the program long enough to know what they were doing, and I did tell a manager, and the manager that I told was actually number 2 on my list here. And his response to me after I told him, what had happened with my signs disappearing, is he said, "What do you want me to do about it?" So that was his response as a manager of the company that I was working for. So really, really good response from a manager. And anyway, so I moved on from that. I just got over it, moved along. Other things started happening. There was I had a confrontation with a guy that was working on the night team. Said that I hadn't, covered this merchandise good enough. And I did. I covered it perfectly. In fact, after this incident, I took a picture of it, so I've got proof of that as well. He was just making up something to get me angry about, and he was trying to play manager with me, and he was not a manager. So I told him that he needed to get his manager if he wanted to address me, that he didn't need to address me directly, that he needed to get his manager to talk to me directly if he wanted something done. And he didn't like that, and his manager came over, screaming, "Don't you approach my my employee like that, and you need to come with me." And he tried to get me fired. Well, the person that I was talking about, who's number 2 on that list, he's the assistant manager. He basically saved me. He said, "Cody's a hard worker. He does a good job. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but just leave him alone." and they left me alone for a while. So he's a good assistant manager. I don't believe he's involved with it at all. In fact, he's probably the only assistant manager there that I actually would trust, besides my friend, who seemed to start losing some, I don't know, some likability towards me as well. So I don't know what types of smear campaigns they were running on me. I just want to get it out there, guys. I've been a targeted individual for probably, I'd say, about 5 years now, and it's no walk in the park, but you know, you deal with it. And I have no offenses. I don't have drug trafficking, no theft, no assault, no sexual crimes. The only thing I've ever gotten was a DWAI, and I just lost my license for a year because I wouldn't blow in their little meter. I actually wasn't even drunk. I passed the roadside, and I thought they were trying to incriminate me, and so I decided not to blow in it, and I lost my license for a year, and had 2 beers at a hockey game, and they cut you off in the second period, so it was like an hour and a half after having 2 beers. There's no way I could have been drunk. So anyway, that's all I have. I mean, my record is completely clear of anything. So hopefully that clears up. I don't know what kind of rumors and accusations they're making up about me personally. I know that at the current place where I'm employed right now, they're telling people that I'm dangerous and to watch out for me. And you know, there's a lot of rumors going around. There was a gentleman there who I know is a perp for sure now. Who was telling people that I looked like a child molester. He was telling people that. So I definitely know he's a perp, and that gentleman is you on my list, and I've got witnesses to him saying this. One of my witnesses is F, and another witness of it is E. F and E can witness that he definitely said those things about me, making up those types of rumors. And you guys know, as targeted individuals, that when the harassment starts in the workplace, almost every blog, almost every thing that's written about the harassment in the workplace, they're either labeling you as a sex offender, a child molester, or mentally incompetent, you know, mentally disabled, you know, mentally ill, you know, whatever they want to call it. So those are the 3 elements that they always include in it. And there's definitely got to be some type of a book or a manual that these people use, because it definitely goes in steps, and they use the same processes to do everything. They start out with the hacking, the isolation, you know, from your friends, from your close friends and relatives, and then they go into the hacking, and then they hack your computers to bits, and then they go into the gang stalking, and then eventually it gets into the electronic weapons. So when we get into the electronic weapons, I actually was shot with an electronic weapon at my work, my current employer now. So it happened. It was happening for about a week. I was feeling, you know, just this tingling sensation and like a bubbling underneath my skin, and it was just, it's really kind of uncomfortable. It doesn't necessarily like hurt really bad, but it really kind of, it's really uncomfortable. Let's put it that way. And I kept feeling it coming from different directions. The manager that was working there at the time was C on my list, and he was actually the one that was in charge of the night team that had the employees that were the perpetrators that I thought were the perpetrators. And the definite perpetrators that I thought were involved, I believe they were passing the weapon around, and because I was getting hit from different directions. Well, I finally hit to a point where I was able to actually, you know, kind of zero in on the direction of it coming from, you know, where it was coming from at a certain point, and it was in another department. Well, I saw a gentleman kind of leaning underneath a bay, and he had a box in his hand. And I thought it was kind of funny, so I kind of walked down there. He kind of, you know, started kind of walking fast back down his aisle, and I was like, huh, that was strange. I said, well, surely, you know, if he's using an RF energy weapon, he's not going to do it again. And I started feeling it again. So sure enough, I was a little bit more quiet this time and a little bit more sneaky. I was able to like sneak around, and I actually caught him. I could see the hole in the box. There was a vent, a metal vent that was in there, and it was a hole in the box. And he was underneath the bay, and he was doing this. you know, back and forth. So he was shooting me with it. And I said, hey man, I said, what's in the box? And for which he said nothing. He just kind of sat there like a deer caught in in headlights. And I asked him again, hey man, what's in the box? And he wouldn't say anything. I didn't know if he was going to run or try to fight me. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. It was a position I've never been put in before, so I've never had anybody shooting me with an RF energy weapon before, so especially at work. So I was able to call over a friend of mine that I was working with, and again, hit the witness that came over and actually saw the hole in the box. He didn't actually see the weapon, was F. And he actually came over and saw it and heard me ask him 2 more times, hey man, what's in the box, for which he wouldn't answer. He started kind of like hiding the box he had in with other boxes as we were sitting there. Really slowly he was doing this as he was looking at us. And the guy I was with, the friend of mine that I called over, I asked him, I was like, what do you think I should do, man? I'm like, you know, what can I do? And he's like, well, he was saying, well, just kick his ass. And which I thought about, but I mean, that's what they want me to do. They wanted me to, you know, these weapons are not illegal, so there's no restrictions on them. They're not illegal weapons to use, which is crazy, but it's true. So if I was to, you know, kick his ass and fight him, and I would get in trouble, I'd get assault, and I'd be the one that would go to jail. So I told him, no, I can't do that. He said, well, just, you know, you should go tell the manager. I was like, yeah, I think I'll just go tell the manager. So I went and told the manager. And the assistant manager that was working that night was O on my list. And I just went up to him and said, hey, you know, I caught this guy shooting me with an RF energy weapon. It was in a box. And O just laughed in my face. He just laughed in my face, and I just asked him if I could leave. And he took me to the door. I made a comment to him. I said, you know, I guess the Holocaust is on, huh? And he said, that's right. That was his words. He said, that's right, is what he said to me. So I definitely believe that this person is possibly involved as well. So that does confirm that it's gone up the ladder. It's to assistant management position level. And so it could definitely go up higher than that as well. So after confirming that, they put me on administrative leave to see a counselor, basically assuming it was mental illness. The counselor that I saw, I told her, you know, I'd be glad to, you know, admit mental illness if I could actually look at the security tapes of that night. I'd just like to look at the security tapes. If you guys show me the security tapes, I'll admit it's mental illness, and we can just go on as usual. And you know, I'll get some medication, whatever I need to get, you know. Those tapes would never surface. She actually asked about them, and the company, the hardware store, told her that it was a private security company that was doing the security tapes, and that they weren't able to provide those to the company. And I was like, I thought that was strange. I'm like, why wouldn't they be able to provide those to the company that they're securing? But it would never surfaced, the security tapes. In fact, I don't know if they're still there. We're getting close to a year now. But I would hope that they'd still be there. I'd really like to see them. Hopefully, if I can get some litigation established here, I can do that. But anyway, I better let you guys go because my little one just woke up. And so I'm going to go ahead and end it with that. The gentleman that was shooting me with the RF energy weapon was Y on my list. And like I said, I've got F was with me as a witness who actually saw him with the box with the hole in it. And nothing was ever done about it. So I'm going to go ahead and end this as part 1, and I'm going to do this in separate parts just to make it a little bit easier and shorter. I hate long videos, long strung out videos, so I'll probably make like 2 or 3 parts to this, and so we'll continue on my next feed on part 2. So thank you very much, guys, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. Thank you.